started because these guys have so much to share with you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming to the 2013 College Alumni Panel. I'm Mrs. Fugit.
And I'm Mrs. Flaherty.
We want to thank everyone for coming, and we want to give a special shout out to all the teachers that brought their classes. Thank you so much for that. We'd also like to thank Jim Honeycutt for all the work he helped us with in producing the video. It was really nice, Jim, thanks. So we have 10 students from the class of 2013 from a wide variety of schools who have volunteered to come back and share their college experiences and answer questions. We also have a special transfer student from the class of 2012.
Okay, we're going to introduce our 2013 panelists. Shelby Phares, Indiana University. Jackson Yang, Middlebury College. Allie Daut, Syracuse. Alexandra Rappaport, College of Charleston. Adam Mirkine, NYU Tisch School of the Arts. Emma Tolkin, University of Wisconsin. PJ Syrrist, sorry. Megan O'Shea, University of Delaware. Ned Hardy, Stanford. And Anna Link, who's from Boston College. She's a transfer student, so she'll share her experience as a transfer student. Please be respectful to our panelists while they talk. Please give them your undivided attention. Keep the chattering down. We're going to open it up for questions once they're through with their introduction of their experience. Thanks. Oh, Nick Paparo. Oh, sorry, I didn't mention Nick. I'm sorry, Nick. Yes. Nick Paparo, University of Colorado.
Hi, I'm Shelby. I go to Indiana. I just want to say, do your work and study really hard. If you show up to class, like especially if it's a small class and you don't have your work done, it's like really embarrassing because it's like you're in college, like you should be able to get your work done. And also study really hard and go to office hours because it's the same amount of material we learn in a year at Staples, like shoved into one semester. And you only have class like 2 or 3 times a week, so it's like really important to study a lot.
Hey guys, I'm Jackson. I go to Middlebury in Vermont. Hope senior year's going well. I know it probably sucked so far. It did for me at least, but it gets a lot better. It's a great time, and then, college comes around. It's a big transition, but it's a lot of fun. You're gonna have a great time. I'm sure you'll all be very prepared for it. Like Shelby said, just do your work and you'll have a great time. It's a lot of opportunities just to try new things. So yeah, say yes to some things you wouldn't have thought of before and you'll have a great time. I'm not sure.
Hi, I'm Allie Daut, and I know you all probably applying to schools right now, and I just want to say don't worry if you don't get in somewhere. Almost all my friends at school right now ED'd somewhere other than Syracuse, yet they absolutely love the school they're at right now, which is Syracuse. So don't worry if you don't get in somewhere, or if your friends are all getting in and you got rejected from like 5 schools and those are your first responses. Don't worry, it's gonna work out fine. You're gonna love where you're at, and if you don't, then you'll transfer, and it's not a problem.
Hey guys, I'm Nick. I'm from University of Colorado Boulder. Don't be scared of not knowing what you want to study and going to school undecided. There's a lot of options to pick and choose from when you get to college, whether it's sociology or creative writing or just like archaeology even. Just make sure you study things that you want to study and not that you're forced to study at all. Just have fun with taking classes and not like, you're forced to study. It's not fun. It's not gonna be fun.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Rappaport. I go to the College of Charleston. A piece of advice that I have to give is if you still have time to visit schools, then I would suggest sitting in on a class, which is something I did that really helped me decide where I wanted to go, because I sat in on a class at the college and I found it very interesting and it was challenging and I just really enjoyed it, and I'm actually enrolled in the class that I sat in on now and I love it just as much as I thought I would. So I think that it can really help you see how the school works by sitting in a class that you'd be interested in taking, or just any class. And most colleges will let you do that, so I would suggest doing that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Hi, my name is Adam, and I go to NYU. And I would say, in terms of what you think you want out of a school right now, in terms of size or location, is probably, you probably do want that, but it's probably one of the options that would be suitable for you. I know that initially when I was applying to schools, I know that I wanted a mid-sized school near a city, and now I'm at a 25,000 person school in the middle of, the biggest city you could possibly think of. So would I be happy somewhere else? Yes, but I also think NYU is a really great fit for me because of all the opportunities that the city has to offer. Coming from somebody who was terrified of New York City going into it, I definitely adapted very, very quickly and feel comfortable at that school.
Hi, I'm Emma from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I know when I was sitting where you guys were last year, my biggest concern was not having my friends with me next year and all my high school friends. And when I got to college, it's really rough because I didn't know anybody. And Facebook is kind of misleading where you think you show up to college and you have all these friends. And it's really hard to make friends. But after the first month, I can say I've made a few, so that's good. And
Yeah, Emma.
yeah. That's always good. So thanks. So just wanted to say, when you guys get to college, if you don't have a lot of friends at first and don't know, I didn't know anybody on campus, that's okay, because you make friends. Yeah. Thanks.
I'm PJ from UConn, and like Emma said, you find a lot of friends the first week. If you just go out there and see if somebody wants to go to the dining hall with you or go ask where your class is, you'll meet a lot of new people and make some lasting friendships. And if you kind of welcome the opportunity to customize your life almost, because you pick the times you take the classes, what classes they are, who teaches them, it's a really great thing to be able to have that kind of control. And it might scare you at first, but go out and just embrace it, try some new things. I think you'll really fit in.
All right, hi guys, I'm Megan. I go to Delaware, and my biggest piece of advice for you guys is to be patient and relax with the whole process, because I went in, I remember end of junior year, I said to my mom, I was like, I'm applying ED, I'm going somewhere, I'm getting it done out of the way, and I ended up getting waitlisted, and my process was the longest possible one that you could take. So just be patient, and everything is so out of your control, so wasting energy stressing about it is not helpful at all. So yeah.
Hi, I'm Ned. I go to Stanford. I feel like you guys don't really want to hear academic advice, so I'm not going to give you that, but I go to school across the country, so if you're thinking not to do that, you should think the other way, because it is awesome. The plane ride is kind of annoying, but it's cool to be super far away. That sounds weird, but I love my parents still. What else? If you can choose your roommate, please, dear God, choose your roommate. I could not choose my roommate. We're fine, but it's a sticky situation. So I would do what you can to avoid that. You know what I mean?
Hi, I'm Anna Link. I graduated in 2012. I go to BC. I transferred there, so this is my first semester there. And so disclaimer, I'm really, really happy that I transferred, but it's a hard process. I mean, the only thing worse than filling out the Common App, writing your college essay, and writing supplements is having to do that whole thing twice. And honestly, that's not even necessarily the hardest part. The hardest part is getting on campus, knowing that you're not a freshman, but also not exactly feeling like you fit in with the current sophomores. So I definitely would do your whole entire college application process without thinking about transferring. You should really be focusing on 4 years at one school. Obviously, transferring is a good option for some, and I'm so happy that I did it. But I know people who transferred and are still feeling like they're really in limbo. And there's just a lot to think about. You have to think about which classes that you've already taken are going to count at your new school. Will you have enough credits to study abroad? Will you be able to graduate on time? So I definitely wouldn't take transferring lightly. I wouldn't say, oh, I'm just going to apply here, here, and here, and it doesn't matter where I get in because I can always transfer, because it's really not that easy. I mean, obviously, I'm so happy that I did it. I've made a bunch of new friends. I'm still in touch with my friends from my other school. But definitely think long and hard about if you get to your school your freshman year and you feel like you're not really settling in well, you finish first semester and you think that you're still not completely happy, just think seriously about it and make sure that whichever schools you apply to definitely have everything that you want. So transferring because you feel like you still haven't made a lot of friends, not exactly the best reason to transfer. Transferring because you realize that your school doesn't have a major that you now really, really want to take, that's a reason to transfer. So just really think seriously about it if you get to a school next year and you feel like, you're not settling in well.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I just want to, every one of you gave a response to us, to Susan and I, that you seem to feel that you all got involved pretty early, and that seemed to help you. It was a universal theme in it that you told us. So before we open up for the questions to the audience, could you each individually tell us how you've gotten involved at your college? If you have.
Think for a second. You go first.
All right. For me, I play rugby at Middlebury. So right off the bat, it was really helpful just have like a team or a group of people that you knew right away and like to practice with. I don't know how many of you out there are athletes, but like it really helps just to have a group of guys immediately or a group of friends that you can like ask for advice or go to for like this or that. But at the same time, I mean, my floor in my building also was pretty close from right off the bat, so it's nice just to be open right in the beginning and make friends, because shutting yourself off just doesn't help for anything. You'll find that even if it's like kind of scary, if you don't have some group immediately coming in, that if you open up, whether it starts with your roommate or maybe your like RA or something, it just helps to start opening up and getting those connections right away, because I mean, there's no point in shutting yourself out in college.
Okay, well, my school, you rush second semester, so I plan on doing that when I get back, so that's one way that I plan on getting involved. Also, my floor has a ton of meetings, and we watch for Halloween, we watched a Halloween movie together. It sounds really stupid, but it was actually really fun. We play intramural sports together. Me and my friends go and support my guy friends on our floor in their flag football team, and it's just you get involved in the little things, and it's really, really beneficial.
For my major, I'm off campus 6 hours about a week, in a preschool. So that's one thing I do. I'm also involved in Dance Works, which is a dance company on campus, run by student choreographers and everything. And I'm also planning to rush second semester.
I got involved with intramurals, with our floor especially. The first week of school, even the first day, your whole floor, it feels a little weird, but then once you get together and you see everybody in their natural habitat, you get more comfortable around them, become more friends with them. We started a basketball team, an intramural basketball team called the Blue Ballers with our floor. It's a great bonding experience. Sports are a very good way to help you meet new people, even people outside your school.
I did not join a sorority my first semester, but my roommate and a few of my suite mates are in sororities, so through them I've had groups of friends, and it's helped me to see which sorority I would want to join if I do decide that I want to join next semester, which I'm still not totally sure about, but it's been a good experience for me and kind of bad. I don't have a definite group that my roommates sort of have with their sororities, but because I'm friends with them, because they're my roommates, I'm friends with their friends, and it helps me see sort of what their group of friends are like and which ones I would want to be a part of.
For me, I knew that I didn't want to go to a school with a lot of Greek life, and the Greek life at NYU is kind of non-existent. So there's not really much of that, but I would say definitely a lot of schools have an orientation week right before school. So I moved in and then had a week before I started classes, and that was a huge opportunity for me to meet people and find out what types of things happen at a lot of the buildings around NYU. So I went to a Rocky Horror Picture Show one night, and I went to a lecture where they told us how to get discounted tickets to shows, and I won Yankee tickets. And so things like that, definitely go to stuff during Welcome Week and orientation, because you find out a lot of really important information there. I would say also, one of the things I regret is not getting more involved with my dorm, because I still feel like I'm a little disconnected from things that go on. My roommate's really involved, so he kind of keeps me in it. But for instance, I got asked by the Jewish Center to run like a Hanukkah candle lighting in my dorm, and I had no idea how to put up posters or who to contact. So it's just good to know who to talk to if you want to get something done or you want to get people together.
My school has like the student org fair, so like it's like Club Rush, only way bigger. And it's when we fill an entire room with a bunch of different clubs. And I don't do sports, so I was like, let's join some clubs. So I joined a bunch of clubs. I volunteer. I got involved, like in Wisconsin, there's not a lot of Jews, so like being Jewish is cool. So I got involved with the Jews, and we bake challah on Thursdays. So if you like baking challah, come to Wisconsin. That's like the main thing I'm involved in. Really cool. So yeah.
When I visited campus in March, I just went for one day and talked to some students, and that was the day I really decided I wanted to go to UConn, because I found out about the Eurotech program, which is what I'm involved in now. It's a 5-year German exchange program, and so I'm living with 40 other students who are all taking German classes, and they're engineers, and we're all learning the language together. And then in the 4th year, we go to Germany together and spend a full year studying abroad and doing an internship. And so it's a really nice experience to be working with other students who are in the same engineering fields or have the same interests as you. And also the first week of college, we had a involvement fair, and I found out about a bunch of different clubs, which I signed up for a bunch, kind of like Club Rush here, and then it dwindled down to just 1 or 2. But you have a lot of opportunities to sign up for stuff and just go to certain meetings if you have time for it or not. Everyone's really okay with that.
I honestly am not involved in anything at school. I kind of took this semester as like just relaxing and trying to figure out my way and trying to figure out what I'm interested in and figuring out what I want. But I am planning on rushing next semester, and yeah.
Yeah. We don't rush until spring quarter. We're on like the quarter system, so that won't be till April, which I think is a good thing because it kind of keeps everyone like in the dorm and like doing other stuff. So, but I think like just being at college in and of itself is kind of like being involved, as Megan said, for your first quarter or semester or whatever it is, because there's like a lot of stuff you have to do, and that kind of thing, and just like being in your dorm. But I am involved with like my dorm government, and then I'm also involved with like the on-campus student government. It's called like the Senate. And what else? Involved with making friends and having a good time, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so every single school, no matter the size, is going to have hundreds of ways for you to get involved. BC is, I'm not kidding, 5 times the size of the school that I went to my freshman year, and I feel like there are the same amount of clubs. I mean, there's like clubs on clubs. Everybody's in 1 club or 2 clubs or 3 clubs. So you can either just kind of jump right in and sign up for 5, or, I mean, there's obviously nothing wrong with taking a semester to kind of figure it out. It's really important to make friends. Obviously, you get into school, the friends that you have now, I'm sure you guys have known for like the past 10 years. you kind of automatically have friends when you're on a sports team or when you're in players, but when you get to college, you literally don't have friends. So it's really, really important to put in the effort and energy to make friends. It's a lot of girl flirting, it's a lot of guy flirting, but it's really, really important.
Just be yourself.
So that was very informative. Is there anything any of you guys want to add before we open it up for questions? Ned?
Can I add on to that? I agree like wholeheartedly with that. Like when you come from middle school into high school, especially here at Staples, like it was 2 middle schools for the most part. Everyone was at those feeding into this school. And so like from the get-go freshman year here, you like had your kind of like cliques or whatever groups sort of like formed, and they changed over time obviously, but like you knew who was like the football kids or like the whatever, like theater kids or like all those like stupid kind of things. But like at college, like everyone goes in, other than the athletes honestly who have already been there, or like especially at like a school with where like that's like really important. But everyone else goes in like a completely like blank slate, and like literally everyone just wants to make friends. And so you still have like kids who like, I mean, you can like tell like, oh, like he's gonna be like computer kid or what, you know what I mean, or whatever you're gonna say. But like, it's funny. I just think it's like a really good thing. So like, don't be worried about like making friends, because like yeah, it's a lot of like flirting or whatever. But like everyone else is doing the same thing and just wants to like make friends immediately and like have a friend group or whatever. So like everyone's in the same boat. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, like you really have to make a conscious effort. Like if you sit in your room and don't reach out to people, like you'll be doing that the whole semester or year. Like you have to just like get yourself out there and really put yourself out there to meet people and like go get food with people, like a girl on your floor, a guy on your floor, just like really reach out, because it's really what you make it. And if you don't try, you're gonna do nothing and like be depressed. So don't do that.
Yeah, I would also say it's really important to try and make friends or just meet people and get involved with things outside of your major. Particularly for me, because I'm in such a tight-knit major, I spend so much time with the people I take classes with. I get really, really sick of them really quickly. So it's really nice for me to have friends who are studying film and go see a movie with them, or friends that are studying science and, you know, have a conversation with them, because it both keeps me interested in other things and just involved with different kinds of people, which is really, really important.
Also, on that note, make sure you make friends in your major, because it's so good to have people that are right there to like bring up to your dorm and study with them last minute, or like borrow notes from if you're sick and can't make it to class. So like make sure that you also have close people that you trust within your classes.
I'd say join clubs and get involved with things that follow your interests, because you'll find people that have the same interests as you, and they can connect with you better than somebody who just has no clue what you're talking about when you try to bring up a conversation. So just follow your interests and your likes, what you like to do most, more than try to force friendships and connections between people that not gonna happen, I guess, as easily as people that you can connect with more.
Okay, I have 2 things. One, leaving your door open is a really easy way to make friends. Like,
Yes.
and go in and out of like people's rooms, like welcome week, like do that. And then second thing, I don't know why I just thought of it, but your lectures, it's like okay to skip those sometimes, because like you can get your notes from like other people. But like classes that are like 20 people, usually it's like if you miss class more than 3 times, they dock your grade like a third of a letter grade every time. So like make sure you just like, if it's 8 a.m., just like get up, like no matter how like horrible you feel about the night before, like go, because like it is worth it. Trust me.
Yeah, also to add on to Shelby's thing about keeping the door open, also having food, it's a big plus.
Yes.
People will, and a TV, people will flock to that. But I mean, everything we're saying, you have to kind of take with a grain of salt. We have a pretty good distribution of schools here, but all our experiences are going to be kind of unique and personalized. Like, I'm coming from a small liberal arts school in Vermont, and so at least my experience, I can kind of agree with what everyone's been saying, is that just try new things, like in the sense that if someone asks you to go somewhere, like have a conversation with someone, even if you think they're kind of weird, because I've met some really fascinating people from literally all different parts of the globe who I don't like, just the way that they got to Middlebury is just like completely different than how I ended up just applying through Common App. So just meet new people, and I think I can agree with what everyone's saying, is that just follow what you're interested in and keep an open mind as to what like people are saying, or what, like, go try this club or go try that, because you might not, even if you don't like the activity, you might meet someone there that could be a very good friend of yours in the future. So
Also, just on like that note about like majors and stuff, just know that like don't freak out, because like if you're going to any like liberal arts school or any school that like follows a liberal arts kind of situation, like I have not declared my major and will not do so for another year and a half. So like, don't be thinking that that's like typical or the norm. So.
Okay. Thank you so much for those comments. I just want to add one on to Shelby, and that is about leaving the door open. My daughter, who's a sophomore at college, just had her laptop stolen last month. So be careful.
Eat in the dorm when the door's open.
In your room.
Your door open when you're not there.
Go to the bathroom, leave
Exactly.
the door open.
That's a good
Make
point.
sure you're there.
lock it when you're not there.
Yeah. Usually lock when you're not there.
So we're going to open it up for questions from the audience.
Oh, just raise your hand, and Mrs. Flaherty, you'll be on that side, I'm on this side, and we'll run the mic over to you, and stand up and ask a question. Anybody want to ask a question? Come on.
Right here. Sue, do you want to feed that one?
No such thing as stupid question, guys. Only stupid answers.
Ask us weird stuff.
Has to be said.
Ask anything. Seriously.
So,
anything.
when you guys first got there, how did you deal with moving into your dorm room? Like, how did you set it up so everyone had an equal amount of space?
I can do that really quick. So my freshman year, I was in a triple, and we actually got to see a video of our room before we even moved in, and I felt like it was half the size of what we saw in the video. A big thing, I don't know if any of you guys do this, is lofting beds. So I pretty much have to, I feel like I'm climbing a tree when I get into my bed, but even this year again, I raised my bed so you can fit a lot of stuff under there, like entire 3 stacked dressers you can fit under. We only had 2 like wardrobes for 3 girls, so it's a lot of splitting stuff up. So like I got half a wardrobe and my other friend got half a wardrobe, and one of my roommates got a full wardrobe, but she didn't get the 2 drawers that were underneath the wardrobe. So you guys end up figuring everything out. Just really, really communicate. That's a really big thing. It's important to communicate. I'm kind of a neat freak, especially like the more work I have, the cleaner my room has to be, or else I like can't function. So I had an area rug by my room, and I, obviously in nice words, I told them that nothing could touch my rug. So you'll find a way to divide the room. Definitely don't touch any of your roommate's stuff without asking. One time my roommate wore one of my shirts, and I saw her during the day, and I was like, that belongs to me, and you didn't ask me to wear it. So definitely just communicate. People might be coming from sharing a room with a sibling, and some people might be coming from being super duper messy all the time, and that's just how it is. So just make sure you communicate, and by communicating and talking to your roommates, you'll figure out a really efficient way to set up your room, set up the beds, etc.
Yeah, don't like touch your roommate's stuff without their permission. Like my roommate a few weeks ago was like, Ned, what size shoe are you? I was like 10. He was like, sweet. I was like, oh boy, no. But also don't be thinking like, I know it's like nice to think like, oh, I'll be the nice one and like, wait till, especially if I only have one roommate, but if you have multiple and you haven't like talked beforehand and you're like, oh, like, we'll all wait to like choose what side we all get. Like, no, because college is cutthroat. Like, be the bitchy person and get the good side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Get there first.
you're going to be so miserable if you don't get that.
Show up early on move-in day.
I showed up 2 days early before my roommate came, and it was great. She doesn't care about
Me and my roommate, we didn't split the room evenly. We split it so that we can function, like have people over as best as possible, so we got the most amount of space available to the public, I guess. Like we had the beds against the walls, so it's like open up the room as much as possible instead of taking everything equal, splitting everything equally. We made it very friendly, user-friendly, I guess.
And however you set it up, it's not like set for life. It's not definite. You're not like gluing down your furniture. Like me and my roommate, about like 2 months ago, completely moved all of our furniture around because we decided our layout just wasn't working. So we like threw on clothes, like dirty clothes, and just like moved everything around, spent like all day, and now our room looks completely different than it did when we moved in. So nothing's set in stone. You can always move it around if your roommate's cool with that. Like
Very
do it with
easy to
them.
fix.
don't do it without them.
My roommate got to our room before I did, so I just want to say don't worry if you can't get there before your roommate, because both of you are going to be thinking you want to get there first, and obviously you both can't. So my roommate got the side that the wall doesn't have this little ledge that sticks out. That's pretty much it.
Get there
we have,
early.
like, equal stuff. It's not the end of the world if you get there after them.
Any other questions?
It actually might be the end. Like, honestly, get there early. Seriously.
Disregard what you
So miserable if you get like the bad side.
I was the first to move in both years, and it was the best thing ever. So.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Yeah, it's probably worth it. I didn't have a problem with my roommate. But
Oh, also communicate with your roommate beforehand what each of you are bringing, so you
Yeah.
don't show up with 2 TVs, 2 microwaves, and 2 refrigerators.
2 printers even.
Yeah, seriously, because that way you guys can figure out who's gonna bring what. You can split it evenly money-wise, and that way, you know, you don't have a bunch of extra stuff on move-in day.
yeah, I mean, Ned and like everyone else has a good point with like getting there early, but you should also really kind of be open with your roommate. Because I got there, like we were pretty respectful right off the bat. I'm in a double, so I just have one roommate. And we just kind of agreed, like, all right, I'll get the fridge, you get the microwave, you bring the TV, I'll bring the Xbox. Like, it's just a lot easier if you talk about it first.
Okay, we have a couple questions down here.
This is to Ned specifically. What's your favorite food at Stanford?
Favorite food at Stanford? There's a sandwich place called Ike's that just makes like dope sandwiches. I really like them, but they're very expensive. They're like $12 for a sandwich. And it's not on like the meal plan, but it's a nice little guilty pleasure. If you feel me.
Great. We have another question here from Claire.
I forget who said it. Somebody said, like, if you could choose a roommate, choose your roommate. So how did you go through that process? Like, how do you find roommates?
I can, well, you said that,
But I couldn't choose my roommate.
I actually, girls specifically really go through like the whole Facebook process and joining the Facebook group and stalking girls so hard, but like I've actually found the opposite. All of my friends chose their roommates and we all hate our roommates. Like it's just inevitable. It's something like it's really hard to judge someone off of Facebook, and especially through like camp friends or people. It's just, you can't be looking for someone to be your best friend. Those expectations are so high and they never really get fulfilled, because you're living with people, like, you guys are gonna bump heads, you're gonna get in fights about like stupid stuff, but you just have to take it for what it is and be like, okay, I'm living with this person, like go through the Facebook process and do that, but don't solely rely on that, and don't expect that you guys are going to be best friends, or because you really just need someone that you can go get food with, or that you can share clothes with occasionally. Like, just don't think you're going to be best friends.
Yeah, if I can say something about that also. I have only had random roommates, and I don't know if maybe I just have been really lucky, but I have never had a roommate issue.
Same.
I don't even know if I had the option to choose. I think I did, but I just decided to go random, and it's great. You fill out a survey with how you like to live. It's a bunch of questions. Everybody fills out the same survey, and I think they match you pretty well. I have heard so many, just going off of roommates, don't latch on to your roommate. I have heard so many stories from friends who try to become best friends with their roommate right away. They do every single thing together, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, go out every single Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night together. And obviously, that's not a real friendship, you know? Definitely don't latch on. Make sure that you don't rely only on your roommate. As Megan said, it's just important to have someone that you can, you know, grab a meal with every now and then, and someone that you can really live with. You do not, by any means, have to become best friends with them.
For me, I had like a huge roommate issue. So me and my roommate, like, we did the whole Facebook stalking thing. Like, she inboxed me being like, oh my God, like, we need to be roommates. Like, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're best friends now. Like, awesome. And then, like, we went out, we, like, did that. Like, we would go out, like, all the time together. We had, like, the same friends. Like, all of our friends were, like, on our floor. And, like, we actually hated each other, and like I actually had to move out, and I like moved into a new dorm, like random roommate, and now me and my roommate are like, we're still really good friends, but like we go out sometimes, but like don't go out all the time. Like we're involved in different things, and it's like such a better situation. And like if you have to go random roommate, like really don't be worried about it, because like if you really don't like your roommate, when you get random roommate, you can always like move out usually, so it's not a big deal.
Like Shelby said, Facebook, like it really lies. Like people Photoshop and like it's just like a lie. Like, so no one is exactly as you may perceive them from their Facebook page. So I would recommend, if you're choosing a roommate, it's through like a mutual friend. Like my roommate is a friend went to camp with her when they were like in 3rd grade, so it's really like a distant like relationship or whatever. But like I would not recommend Facebook, because like 1% of the time that works out. Almost all my friends at school that did that through Facebook, it didn't work out. But if you did it through a mutual friend, it is much more likely, because you actually know their personality like live, and that like someone's gotten along with them like one-on-one, like talking to them. So I really just wouldn't recommend the Facebook route, even though it'll probably happen.
Yeah, I did completely random, no Facebook, too much effort, like no survey, no nothing. I was like, put me with anyone. I didn't care. And it worked out perfectly. We're not best friends, but we're definitely good friends. So random really works.
If you can live together, fine, you're good. Just
Yeah,
no fights.
I agree with that.
If there's no tension in the room, and you can get along, go to classes, have a social life, and there's just nothing going wrong with you two, nothing's wrong happening wrong. You're fine.
If you're gonna do random roommate, please be honest on that survey though. Like, they like tell you like, oh, like when do you want to go to bed? So like I put on mine like, oh, weeknights I'll probably go to bed like between 12 and 2, which is pretty accurate on the weeknights. And my roommate, I guess, probably put the same thing, which is why we're roommates. But he goes to bed, you know, like 10 a.m. on the weekdays, that kind of thing. So just like don't like try to like think in the future like when you're actually gonna like what you're actually gonna be like, because it kind of sucks if you're the one getting like a annoying liar roommate.
And you can
But
always
we're great.
switch rooms.
Yeah. I was really unhappy with my housing assignment when I first got it. I got the dorm that I wanted, but I asked for a double and got put in a forced triple, which a lot of people do end up in, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but I was proactive and emailed the housing office and all of that stuff, and ended up getting switched into a suite, which is 2 doubles, and it's great. My roommates were all completely random. I talked to them like a week before I got to school because I got switched at the last minute. And I'm friends with all of them, and the survey was like 3 questions. So as long as you leave yourself open and you're flexible, chances are you will at least be able to coexist with your roommates, which is all you can ask for, because chances are you won't spend that much time in your room anyway.
Yeah, I also agree definitely with what Allie said. I mean, if you're gonna do it, I did completely random, and it worked out pretty well for me. I didn't realize my roommate was 6'8" until I met him. That was kind of interesting. But I mean, you can't go in there expecting like this is gonna be my best friend, and you can't expect that they'll be thinking that also, just as much as you're like, I really don't want to put with like a weird guy who wears a fedora and does stuff like that. Like they're thinking the exact same thing. They just as much don't want a weird person. So if I went for random with a questionnaire, I think it was fairly accurate. My roommate and I mean, he doesn't really go out that much. He and I don't really do like a lot of the same activities. I think he plays Ultimate, and he goes on like hikes and stuff. And I mean, we get along really well living together. We're just respectful of each other's stuff. You have to understand you're living in another person's space, and I've always had a room to myself, so this is a new experience. But if you can be respectful of each other's stuff, like some other people have said here, and just like live together well, I understand that, all right, you're sleeping in the same room, you're gonna be moving around and doing work in the same room. Like, you can get along well and have a good experience and not have to be best friends and do everything together.
Also, in terms of Facebook, I was 100% convinced one of my other roommates was a catfish, so don't listen to Facebook.
Catfish. And if you do get like a roommate from hell that you just don't work with at all, like Adam said, just be proactive about it, and you can change easily. I've had a lot of friends that had terrible roommates, and they changed like twice within the first semester. And you just have to be friends with them. You just have to get along. I got pretty lucky with my random roommate, but next semester we're all switching like on the floor, we're kind of doing a swap because we're all still friends, but we just want to try a different like housing assignment. So just be proactive about it. You can change it.
You can't change it at some schools. You can change it at big schools, I think, like big ones with like a lot of people, but like smaller schools, it's a lot tougher to change.
And it's really hard to move all of your stuff. Like I know a couple of my friends have tried moving, but you need to have a parent or someone with a car and a lot of manpower. I mean, it depends where you move because the dorms at Delaware are like opposite sides of each other, so it's not that simple sometimes.
Yeah, like at Stanford, you have to basically have had like a frickin' murder attempt to change roommates. I Googled it like first week. Now we're fine, but like, took a little adjustment.
Okay, another question from the audience?
Where is she?
Anybody?
We will answer anything.
One over here.
So this question's actually specific to Adam about NYU. Obviously, living in a civic setting is probably like really exciting and stuff, but I guess it could be also very distracting. So how do you like combat with that and try to like make it balance between like?
Well, there's definitely a lot of stuff going on in New York in particular, but also with all of the schools that all these people go to, there's always stuff going on. So you always have to budget time, particularly because I have a lot of work to do that involves other people. You need to say, okay, after this class, we're gonna work for this long. And you need to be hard on yourself with that, because if you say, like, I don't need that much time to work on this assignment, and you go out with friends, things really fall by the wayside. So you need to be really hard on yourself, set yourself a bedtime and stick to it. Set yourself a specific work time and stick to it. In terms of like spending money on things in particular, there are so many temptations, particularly in New York, on spending money, shows, restaurants, all of that stuff. You need to set yourself a budget. I have friends that spent $2,000 in the first month on nothing. So budgeting time, budgeting money, it's all super important, because if you aren't hard on yourself, it'll be really difficult.
Stick to the meal plan. It's cheap. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't go to NYU, but BC is pretty close to Boston. So all the points that were already made, definitely set a budget for yourself. There are some things that are very expensive, especially in a city. So going out for a meal is going to be expensive. The other thing that really kills people are bars. Bars are expensive. You're not going to be able to go to a bar every single night and have money at the end of the semester. So just
you can always find student discounts for stuff. Even if you think it's hard, there's always discounted tickets, there are discounted concerts, there are discounted events everywhere. So if you find yourself paying full price for things, you need to kind of revamp your process, because your school will offer stuff, and the places where the events are will say, hey, if you show a student ID, we'll give you a 10% discount. Or if you show a student ID, we'll comp you the ticket.
And and be like really aware of online shopping. I know you wouldn't think it, but that like creeps up on you. Like all of a sudden you like bought 500 clothes and you're just like broke, and you didn't realize, because it's so lovely to get packages in college, and so you keep wanting to order stuff and you like, get new clothes and things. But just beware of that, because that'll creep up on you. You don't realize how much money you're spending on that.
I mean, I go to probably the opposite kind of school that everyone else does, because there might be more cows than students where it's in stores. It's crazy, but there's the same kind of temptations. Like Insomnia orders or delivers cookies till 3 a.m, and like they're the only cookie place that does that, so they can charge pretty crazy prices. But you, like, I guess when you're ordering cookies at 2 a.m, you don't really care. But if you think about it and keep the budget, you'll save yourself a lot of money, and it creeps up on you.
Any other questions? This is for Ned.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Hi, this is for Ned specifically. What is orientation at Stanford like?
Wait, can you repeat the question, please?
What is orientation at Stanford like?
Oh. Okay, just at Stanford? Okay. I mean, most colleges have orientation, I think. But yeah, a lot of schools, I think you go like early, like a week or so, or like sometime in the summer or something, I think. I don't know. We went, it's like a full week before any of the other like upperclassmen get there. And it's kind of like a mess in a way. So like prepare yourself for that. It's a good time, but like you have to go to like a lot of stuff during the day, like all kinds of different like assemblies and like stuff about like diversity and blah blah blah, which is good. But yeah, you know. But like, I don't know like what I can say. I don't know what you want me to say. What are you looking for here? What do you want to know about? I know.
Typically, orientations like really aren't that fantastic. I mean, I know that I think that there are some schools where like, my friends are like, yeah, no, like we went out every single night during orientation. But then there are other schools where you're like, oh my God, this is the 10th assembly I've been to today on sexual abuse and, you know, drug responsibility, and it can be really, really tiring. But, you know, obviously I don't go to Stanford.
Also,
so.
like, you do a lot of icebreakers and meeting people stuff that's so uncomfortable and awkward. But you'll find that, like, on your floor a lot. People just get people to interact and do those awkward things.
We had a week of welcome, which was 2 days, and we went to every single cultural center known to man, and it was all boring, and there were a lot of icebreakers and just discussion topics, but a lot of people made good friends from their orientation groups, and they decided to room together with someone from their orientation group. So, I mean, just remember you're all in it together. You're going to be surrounded by literally hundreds of people in the same situation. So just get through it and you'll make some good friends.
This is a different note, guys. The freshman 15 is a real thing. So you really have to be conscious of what you're eating and what your activity level is and everything. Like, I seriously have never thought about what I ate before I came to school, and it was all just whatever I wanted. And now you don't really notice it, because at home you think like, oh, dinner's made for me and everything, but you have to go get food every time you're hungry. Like, it's not like you have a fridge you can go to with stuff, and it's really easy to go pick up just crap to snack on and stuff, and you have to make good choices.
Yeah,
Dining hall food necessarily isn't good for you. Like, just put so much salt and then mass produce it. It's good, it's just not good for you. So make sure you watch what you eat too.
Speaking of the fridge though, definitely get some frozen food so you can heat up in the microwave, because the time will pass and dining halls close at 7 o'clock. You can make
Stay away from Easy Mac.
Guys, we want to thank the panelists for coming.
College is awesome, have fun.